Audible lets you enjoy all your audio entertainment in one app. You'll always find the best of what you love or something new to discover.
That sure is true. Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre. Bestsellers, new releases, celebrity memoirs like the Britney Spears book that just came out, mysteries and thrillers, motivation, wellness, business, and so much more.
I personally just listened to Heather Gay's Bad Mormon, kind of for Real Housewives of Salt Lake City research, but also just for fun to listen to it because it was a good book. And it's great. I mean, it's her actually reading it. And it is so nice to run around and do my errands and be able to listen to a book. Because let's face it, I will crash my car if I try to read it physically.
It's a great use of Audible. So try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappins or text crappins to 500-500. That's audible.com/crappins or text crappins to 500-500.
And here's your prescription.
I know just the pharmacy to get this filled.
Who are you?
A pharmacy benefit manager. A middleman your insurer uses to decide which medicines you can get, what you pay, and sometimes even which pharmacy you should go to.
Why can't I go to a pharmacy in my neighborhood?
Because I make more money when you go to a pharmacy I own.
No one should stand between you and your medicine. Visit phrma.org/middleman to learn more. Paid for by Pharma.
The mission: find handmade gifts that won't blow your budget. The answer? Etsy. Whether you need something for the home chef in your life like serveware and cookware, or style pieces like rings, clutches, and seasonal jackets for that trend-setting special someone, Etsy has it for all budgets. New to Etsy? Use code HOLIDAY10 for 10% off your first purchase. Maximum discount value of $50. Expires December 31st, 2023. Terms at etsy.com/terms. Etsy has it.
Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap we just love to talk about on Ye Old Bravo. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me, as always, is the wonderful and hilarious Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Hi.
Welcome back. It's time to start a fresh new week of Crappens. Yeah.
It sure is. And that Christmas season sure is rumbling towards us, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. Tonight, by the way, it's going to be the last crappy hour of the year. It's going to be on Instagram at Watch What Crappens on Instagram. Follow at Ronnie Karam, at Ben Mandelker. It's also a simulcast on YouTube. If you haven't heard about Crappy Hour, it's like the most exciting thing to happen on the internet. We basically talk about Bravo for an hour. We talk about gossip. We talk about news. We talk about stuff on the shows. We talk. You guys talk. You guys write comments and questions. We read them on the air. It's all sorts of fun stuff. So come join us, because otherwise you're going to have to wait till January. So go check that out tonight. It's at 5:30 on the West Coast, 8:30 on the East Coast, and then at the appropriately calibrated time for all the other time zones. So we'll see you all there. And then for today, we are talking Real Housewives of Potomac. And what an episode it is. More hijinks in Austen. You know what I'm saying?
More hijinks in Austen in a construction zone. I might add. They're not really doing Austen a lot of favors. Is there anyone who watched this who thought, wow, I really want to go to Austen right now? I don't think so. It's not a very good commercial for Austen. But you know what? It was a good commercial for Robyn being your girlfriend, because about 15 minutes of this is about Robyn swallowing. You know?
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I don't need in the world. Taxes, don't need those, don't like those. Knowing that Robyn swallows, that's a big one.
Yeah.
And like a basic cold, like a general common cold. I don't really like those either. Swallow all you want, guys. I wasn't even trying to eat, but I don't want to know about it. Okay?
Yeah.
Ben, do you swallow? Don't tell me, because I don't fucking care. Gross. I don't want to know that.
There was a lot. I definitely got the sense that the producers are teasing out this Austen trip, because not much happened this episode. they really, I mean, we really dwelled on like the intricacies and the nuances of swallowing semen over dinner, which, was funny. But yeah, it did go on a long time. But, hey, I guess they wanted to show camaraderie in this group, especially because a lot of people have been saying how this season the women just seem very divided, and I don't know. But ultimately, it felt like they were just teasing out this Austen trip, trying to make it longer than it really needed to be.
Yeah, well, they did it. Okay, so here we are. We're back at the hotel, the Van Zandt, the Stephen Van Zandt from Sopranos Hotel. And they're still fighting in the middle of the pool, in the middle of the construction zone. And Nneka's like, oh, really? You're not friends with Lebe, or whatever we're calling her? Because everybody pronounces this chick's name differently. Have you noticed? Because at the Sip and See, her name was pronounced Lebe. So I would go with Lebe, right? But then Candace is saying Lebe. And then some other people are saying Leba. So I don't really know. What's her name? I don't really know. Does she swallow loads? Nobody knows yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in this episode. So Levy. So Nneka's like, okay, so you're saying that Levy is just your sister's friend. Then why were you announcing her at your daughter's Sip and See? And it's like, dun, dun, dun. And Wendy looks like she gets a caught in a lie face. Like, what? No. And then Giselle's like, wait a minute. Was she there? I was under the impression from this whole conversation that you didn't really know her, Wendy.
And then Wendy's like, humana. She's like, I mean, that's my sister's friend. I mean. And Nneka's like, but you honored her at your daughter's party. And so then we see Ashley saying, like, it's really baffling because Wendy's saying that she doesn't know Lebe very well, but then Lebe got a gelée. I'm sorry. I apologize. Is it gelée or gelée? But it's the traditional head wrapping, which apparently is a very significant thing and a very symbolic thing. And it's given to people who are close to the family. So Lebe got it, or Lebe. Now it's in my head. Lebe. So she got it. And so for Wendy to act like, oh yeah, who is this person? Like, I don't really know her, but she got this very like sacred head wrap. So Ashley's sort of like questioning all of this.
So Wendy's like, look, my sister was friends with Lebe. So yeah, she was at my daughter's Sip and See, and she got a hair tie. But what if we're being quite honest, so did Giselle. So how about that? And then we see the clip of them putting one of these hair tie gilet things on to Giselle, which does make kind of a point. But Wendy's giving big lie vibes, and I'm not really sure. And I'm with Ashley here because Ashley's like, I just don't understand why. Yeah. Why is she lying? Like,
exactly.
What's the point? What is the lie? Like, what are you trying to get away from here? I'm not really sure, but it's pretty clear that Wendy is fucking lying about it. And then when Wendy reverts to, she goes, oh, well, what about you? What about you? Why don't you go back to LA and smoke some more crack or whatever? Were you even at my party? How do you know about my daughter's party? Weren't you still in LA smoking crack or something? So now,
Yeah, it's weird. It was a weird, it was like she was like in panic mode. It was like a panic comeback, and like that was like the low hanging fruit that she could go for was crack. You smoke crack.
But Wendy's just so cringe. I mean, my God. So Wendy goes, so yeah, what were you doing? What were you in LA smoking crack? Oh yeah. Then she lifts her arms like in a cheer pose, like she's like hilarious for saying it. I mean, she's just so corny. It's so rough watching Wendy sometimes. I'm like, cause you know what? Like you want to like Wendy, right? Like Wendy's not a bad person. Like she always seems like such a smart, nice person. It's just this show. She's just not built for this show. We've said it a million times, and I just cringe when Wendy does shit like that. Like, oh, really? You're a quackhead. Nailed it. I called you a quackhead. Like, what are you doing?
She is usually really good with like a read, I think. And so the fact that she was just like,
terrible
yeah,
at reading. I mean, she's terrible at reads. I love you so much, but she is a terrible. What is one good read Wendy has ever done?
Well, I feel like she has very often been able to just like come back at people and just do a great job at it. But I think that she's gotten worse over the years. And I think that this is just like this like, oh, but you're smoking crack. This is almost like a Karen Huger level thing. Like, I mean, Karen Huger literally did this like 2 years ago, where she was like, well, your vagina was on fire while we were up in Sing Sing, or whatever she said. Your hot box was on fire.
Hot box? Oh, maybe your vagina's a hot box. Hot box, sing, 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 sing. Oh, really? Because you went to sing, sing, hot box.
So this is sort of like a Karen level, like, let me pull something out that sounds sort of fun. So Nneka's like, Wendy's saying that I'm doing crack is another deflection. I mean, it's like, just own up to what you did. You and your family tried to attack me, and you're mad that I got a seat at the table. So then everyone's like, let's not talk about smoking crack. Let's not go there. Drug allegations are bad. La da 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 da. And everyone's like, that's a reach. Come on, let's not do this, whatever. And the producer's like, do you have a crack receipt? And Wendy's like, do I have a what? A crack receipt. She goes, no, but if it quacks like a duck, then guess what? It's crack. Crack it. Quack.
Just crack it. Yeah. If it quacks like a duck, then guess what? Crack it is. It's like, no, Wendy, no.
Crack it is.
It's another terrible one. You know, at some point, I think that sometimes these shows, because listen, Potomac has consistently been one of the, if not the best housewife. I mean, it's consistently funny. It's consistently good. They're having a bit of a struggle this year, you know. I still like it. I still laugh out loud.
Still very fun.
But
I laugh all the time.
I'm to the point where people are way too committed to this shit. It's like, you know, it's not working. I feel like at this point they should send in a producer with a hook and literally just drag Wendy off stage because she's done. There's like, you're done. You went for the crack thing, and then now when questioned about the crack thing, you say that they do crack because it rhymes with quack. Bye. Clear her. Done.
Yeah.
Grab a fucking hook and just clear Wendy off and just bring in a dolly with somebody else.
By the way, your hook miming was very effective. Your hook miming was really good because it really looked like, this is on Crap is on Demand. It's a video, by the way, go Patreon. But Ronnie just did the hook motion, but he did it in a way where like you compensated, like you made your hook look like it was actually hooked around like the weight of a human body. It wasn't like you did like a quick thing. You did it in a way where I was like, I believe there was something in your hook. It was really well done.
I'm an artist. So
I felt like I sensed the Uta Hagen method at work here, and I want to thank you. Thank you for that. It was great.
I smelled the hook. I felt the hook. I tasted the hook.
You understood the hook's motivations. I think that Wendy's afraid of her mom, and she's gone down this path, and she's just scrambling. They keep catching her in like the bullshit of this lie, and now she's totally cornered, so she's saying just wild things like you smoke crack, but there's nowhere left for her to go. I think everyone knows it. No one in the cast believes Wendy. So they're all like, okay, like Karen's like, okay, everyone, well, this tension is as thick as concrete right here. And I'm trying to facilitate this group, all of us being able to at least communicate. So I don't need to see two beautiful Nigerian women going at it. It's like that. That's not what we're here for. We're here to celebrate my triple 20 with no dirty birds.
Karen, the big peacemaker. I'm just here to facilitate fences, making fences, mending fences, and I'm fences. And Ashley's like, well, what?
And pie.
We'll have dinner, and then we're just going to try and keep it light at dinner. And she's like, well, as a group, collectively, we're going to move together and move on. Well, enough is enough. That's just what I say. Now, everybody meet for dinner while we continue to bash Robyn for cheating that Juan did a long time ago. Okay, we'll see you later. Fence on.
Yeah, so then they start to dance. They're like, let's dance. They're dancing by the pool. And then
this whole show, I just feel bad for the cast because they're like, okay, let's get up and dance now. No one is dancing. They're at a pool in the middle of a construction zone. You hear all the fucking machines like, brr, brr, and you don't hear any music. You see that there's a DJ, but you don't hear anything. And then we just have a dance break. And
yeah, it's like a dance break. And there's like, they're almost trying to set up something, but doesn't feel like it's anything. Candace checks in on Nneka, and then like Wendy is like, I don't know, like Candace is basically saying, look, I love Wendy, but like I feel bad for Nneka, and like I'm in the middle or whatever. So, but they're dancing, and then they all go.
I just want to make sure that, she knows that this girl who's clearly going through it with the shrine people is okay.
The shrine people. So now they're all going to go get ready for dinner, and they're getting dressed. Ashley is doing some horrific dance in the living room. She's really committed to the TikTok dance thing. I don't know how well her TikToks do, but if this is what it takes to get numbers up, well, I guess I'll start dancing. I guess that's my path because my numbers are shitty on TikTok.
Well, there you go. Some arm dancing. That's all you need. So Karen is talking to Giselle and Nika, and they're talking about what, how overwhelming the day was. And Neka's like, I mean, like, crackhead, like, that's defamatory. That is incredibly, you know what, crackhead, that is incredibly defamatory. That's inflammatory. That's defamatory right there. And Giselle's like, yeah, she should apologize. And she goes, yeah, well, she's not going to because she's upset about the scenario and her mom. And for her to admit that any conversation like that transpired would admit that her mom consults with this shrine or like interacts with the shrine. Like, who can admit that? I mean, I'm open to anything. Like, even if she just said, listen, my mom's crazy, right? Okay. But like the whole dismissal, I mean, it's just ridiculous. It's a shrine. She is kind of cracking out in the back seat. I have to hand it. I don't know if it was being called a crackhead, but now Neka is kind of acting like a crackhead in the back seat. Look, I have to apologize for my mother all the time. And I think if my mother called and told somebody off, which, spoiler alert, she has, I would just say, I'm sorry. Like, let's move on. I don't understand all of this.
Yeah.
Anyway, you don't need to.
I don't.
I'm going to say the same thing every time we talk about it. I don't get it.
No, that's why I think Wendy's afraid of her mom, because I think if she weren't afraid of her mom, she would just tell her friends, like, yeah, sorry, my mom, she gets protective. She heard, like, I just mentioned, oh, yeah, you were on the show, whatever. She spun it in her own way. She spiraled or whatever. But she's afraid of her mom, I think. And so she is defending her mom and backing up the lie. That's true, too. So, so then the other SUV, Mia's asking Wendy about, like, how she's feeling and everything. And Wendy's like, you know what? Like, I don't, like, we're not going to see eye to eye. There's no friendship there. There's nothing to salvage. Nothing's going to happen. So that's a standstill. So they arrive at a restaurant called Wax Myrtles. Have you been there, Ronnie? I'm going to ask you if you've been to any of these restaurants. Okay.
No, they pretty much keep downtown for this, and that is my living idea of hell. Really, in any city, is like going to hang out downtown. No, I'm too old for that. Sorry, bye. I immediately go into, wow, what have they done to this road? You know, that's what I do when I go downtown. Remember when we used to just come here and take a nice walk? What do you mean? There was a drink for $26. I turn into that guy, so I've just learned to stay away from downtown. The only time I go downtown is when we have shows there and you're in town. That's literally the only time I'm there.
Well, I love that restaurant you took me to, but that was not downtown. We ran into a Crappens listener there.
That was Southwest Parkway.
Ding. Southwest Parkway, a culinary destination. Carve was so good. Next time I come to Austin, we're going to go there, okay? Just putting it out there. Anyway, they're at the restaurant. It's dark, so Giselle's reading from the menu with the flashlight on her phone. And Mia's like, Grandma, put your light down, as if she's not literally married to someone who's 500 years old. And Giselle is like, well, Jason reads me the menus when we go out to dinner. And I promise you, he's like, I got you. And I'm like, do they have any fish? This anecdote is just a way to remind everyone I am sleeping with a very young and hot man.
Mia's like, yeah, I do that for Gordon, too. See, we have stuff in common. Y'all know I'm married to a senior citizen. So they order a bunch of drinks and stuff, and they start ordering food, and Karen's like, I'm too tired to chew, so I'm just going to have a little bit of whatever you guys have. What does that mean? Are you going to get baby birded? Someone going to chew for you and spit it into your mouth? That's a thing on Bravo now where people put stuff in their mouth and they spit it in other people's mouths. Southern Charm and Winter House. They're trying to make that a thing. So, hey, maybe that'll just be the Potomac thing. Baby bird, Alicia Silverstone style, feeding your child.
I love it. Please regurgitate into my mouth. So Robyn's like, you're too tired to chew, so you just want to swallow food? She's like, no, I'm going to eat. And then Giselle says, that's what she does with Ray. She just swallows. Wait, that's right. You don't do that. And then all of a sudden, Wendy goes, okay, let's take a vote. Who at the table swallows? And now for the next 35 minutes of airtime, talk of Robyn swallowing jizz.
So Robyn raises her hand. By the way, the waiter's still at the table. Like, can I just
They're
get your
still
order?
taking orders during
Can I
this.
please? Does anybody want a quesadilla? I just want to leave this fucking table. So now they're all cracking up, talking about Robyn swallowing. And Mia's like, I believe her. So they start just making jokes about swallowing, basically, you know. And Candace goes, yeah, you know, like we tend to bond over nasty sexual conversations, this group, like swallowing nasty and cheater men's penis juices. I love that.
Yeah. And Karen's like, and you know, given the headlines, if I were Robyn, I wouldn't be swallowing. Girl, you don't know what you're drinking. Which I think is actually fair. It's a fair point by Karen.
So Robyn's like, wait a minute, I'm the only one. My only thought was, you swallow and he still cheats. I mean, what's the point? You're supposed to swallow to keep them from straying. My God, it's not working. Okay, you might as well just save the swallow, for Christ's sake.
And Nneka also swallows, and she's like, Mia, what's your stance? And she's like, no, like girl, once I got married, like I stopped doing that. Like I don't swallow. And Giselle says that she has, but she doesn't do it currently. And then Candace is like, will it catch in your mouth? And Wendy says, I catch it, and then I catch it in my mouth. And then it's like, do you spit it out? And Wendy's like, kind of. And then she sort of shows how she spits it out with her tongue and everything. And Karen's like, okay, all right, everyone. Can we just like move off the swallowing snock? I think I'm about to throw up. This is a bit much for me. Thank you very much. I'm already tired from chewing. Don't need to be tired from imagining all the swallowing too.
And Candace is like, yeah, well, I'd rather they just pee on me before you do any of that stuff. And they're like, pee on you? And Wendy's like, yeah, men don't drink water. So what type of pee smell is that going to be? Men don't drink water. Is that a thing? You know, someone said in our comments one time, like, men don't wash their legs. Is that true? I don't think this is true.
Oh, I wash my legs.
Who are these men?
I wash my legs.
Do you drink water?
I try to drink water, but I think I've been dehydrated this weekend because I was really slow going yesterday, and my stomach's been hurting a little bit. So I feel like that's a sign of dehydration. So I actually think, is it generally? I just think I don't drink
in general. You're like, actually, like, do you drink water? You're like, actually, I had a little bit of a stomach ache yesterday because I feel that my water.
I feel like I try to drink water.
I think men get a bad rap. Look, this is my water, though. I'm holding up a giant hydro jug. But men get a bad rap on drinking the water. Why wouldn't men drink water?
I try to drink water, but I feel like what happens is that hours will go by and I realize I've not had water. And I'm currently drinking coffee, which dehydrates you. So that doesn't help. So I know from my experience, I could do better. And I speak as all men. I represent all men.
Okay, well, I still don't want to think about Chris Bassett peeing on Candace, but guess what? I'm not going to escape that today.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
Step into a world of nonstop action on DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots. Plus, enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer, make your deposit, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app now and sign up with promo code CRAPPENS. New customers can get a deposit match up to $500 in casino credits when you deposit $5 or more. Only on DraftKings Casino with promo code CRAPPENS. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. 21 plus. Physically present in Connecticut, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia only. Void in Ontario. One per opted-in new customer. Min $5 deposit. Max match $500 in casino credits, which require one-time playthrough within 7 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/playerschoice for eligibility, terms, and responsible gaming resources.
The holidays are coming up, and that means leftovers. Okay, I don't even care about the regular dinner part. I want leftovers. I want all of the accoutrement from Thanksgiving wrapped up into a beautiful tortilla for my Thanksgiving wrap. And I can do that now with Hero bread.
Ronnie, that sounds absolutely delicious. You know what? Hero bread has 0 to 1 grams of net carbs, 0 sugar, is high in fiber, and contains fewer calories and more protein per serving than the conventional version of the same baked goods.
Hero bread products are delicious and flavorful, offering the soft, fluffy experience that you love while enjoying a refreshing BLT, savory breakfast burrito, or mouth-watering cheeseburger.
I am all about their white bread, actually. I have been using it literally every day. I talked about this. I make a sandwich for lunch. Revolutionary, but I make a sandwich for lunch every single day, and I am always reaching for the Hero bread. It is a game changer for me.
You can get enough fiber, you can cut down on your sugar, and you're adding more protein to your diet.
Hero Bread is offering 10% off your first order to our listeners. Go to hero.co and use code CRAPPENS at checkout. That's CRAPPENS at HERO.co.
So they start talking about who's into peeing, and Karen's like, please stop. And Ashley's like, come on, do you want to do peeing too? And she's like, why are you smiling like you get peed on every Sunday?
Yeah. And then and then Wendy asks Robyn if she eats oysters, and Robyn's like, no. And Wendy's like, so you don't eat oysters, but you swallow cum? And Karen goes, see, this is what I'm saying. Should we go back to dancing in the construction site? I think that might be a better bonding experience than this. This is a bit too much.
And it just keeps going. And Mia's like, so are you swallowing because you love the man? Like you feel like it turns him on? Like, is that why? And Karen's like, I'm done. And Robyn's like, yeah, I just feel like that's part of being intimate with someone.
By the way, Andy Cohen is going to dwell on the scene for about 10 minutes at the reunion, just so you know. Hey, Robyn, you said that you actually swallow. Okay, since we filmed the scene, does anyone here decide to swallow? No, why not? What does the semen taste like?
Now, earlier this season, we learned that Robyn may not know where her man is going, but we all know where he's coming. Let's watch a clip.
Waste not, want not. Okay, welcome to part 3 of the reunion. We spent the past hour talking about Robyn swallowing. Okay, let's talk some more about it.
So then Giselle's like, no, that's only a part of your intimacy, not everybody's intimacy. And Nneka says, well, I'm trying to understand how you start, but then you stop. And then Robyn's like, yeah, well, you just get up. You're like, oh, you know what I mean, right? And then Ashley says, what is Ashley? Ashley goes, no, you wait until he falls asleep, and then you go spit it out. Wait until he falls asleep? What? You're just going to sit there with a man's sperm in your mouth for God knows how, 10 minutes? Well, I mean, we are talking Michael Darby. Michael probably falls asleep half the way through, but still.
Yeah, let's be honest. As soon as he lets the poison out, he probably just passes out right on her chest, like they do in the movies, But that's a long time. I think for most people, I don't think that there is a 10-second countdown from the moment you climax, the moment you're now fast asleep. That's a long time to hold that in your mouth.
And Nneka says, so you let it marinate in your mouth?
That's worse.
Karen goes, actually, that's imprisonment. Your mouth has been holding hostage to his cum. So now they're talking about licking booty.
We're getting every orifice in this conversation. So now Ashley's like, oh, hell no. Ashley's like, oh, hell no. Ashley, who is sitting there holding semen in her mouth for an indeterminate amount of time, is horrified at the idea of licking booty hole. And Karen's like, well, I don't want mine licked. I'm not going near yours.
Okay. So, I'm scrolling down. So Wendy goes, so how did ass taste? And Mia goes, like ass. So then Giselle's like, oh God, now we're going to pretend you don't put balls in your mouth, Karen. And Karen's like, why are you talking to me like that? And then we see a flashback to a train ride 2 years ago where Giselle's like, so do you know about teabagging? And Karen's like, that's with balls, right?
As you move forward in life, as you approach the triple 20, you have to come up with creative ways so you can please one another, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't know what's happening at this table. But also, it's authentic and candid and sharing, and I'm proud of this group. Great job, Ashley. She suddenly turns into the ambassador to Surrey County again, and she's like, thank you for installing this playground. The children have a place to play in beautiful Surrey County. Thank you. I'm proud of everyone here.
Not only does Surrey County now have Wi-Fi, Surrey County now swallows loads. By the loads, actually. Loads and loads. Come to Surrey County for loads of fun. That's both the sound of AOL connecting and Robyn half swallowing while she waits to run to the bathroom to spit half of it up.
And as we all know, I do have to fire up AOL while Ray and I are having sex, because now we try to spice things up by watching pornography on the internet. Only takes 5 minutes for each JPEG to load. So they all are now patting themselves on the back for having like a scene of joy and bonding. They're like, look, we did it. We filmed a scene without arguing. And Nneka's like, by the way, you guys, I just want to say it again. Like, I'm so grateful that you guys called me at like the perfect time, because I was really feeling down, and I've been trying to conceive for the past several months. And, you know, I know like we haven't been successful. And so I'm just hoping that like being stress free, I like to get these babies popping. So just thank you very much. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to wedge a storyline into this scene. Thank you so much. It's like, where'd
now that
come
we've
from?
talked about swallowing cum, I'd like to talk about other uses for cum, which is babies, which mean a lot to me. So Candace is like, how many do you want? She goes, I just want twins, just call it a day. Just be done with it. And Candace does too. She would love that. And Nneka's like, yeah, you know what? And then I'm going to go get my body back. Just take me to the doctor and I'll get my body back. And so Robyn's like, okay, well, why don't we go back to the hotel and then everyone can come back to my room. Everyone's invited. Everyone's invited.
So then they hop into the vans, and Mia's like, guys, if you smell something, I may have tooted, which they don't appreciate. I also think like a Mia fart. Well, you know what? I won't even say what a Mia fart sounds like, because I know it's just going to offend my Rondel. I know that your least favorite thing is talking about farts, so I'm just going to move forward.
Yeah.
So then Mia's at the piano pretending to be Alicia Keys, and they're playing around. By the way, I'm surprised that a hotel room had a piano in it, just because I can imagine that annoying everyone else around. I guess with all the construction noise, a piano really does not. It's bad enough. The piano's not going to add anything else, right? It's already so noisy in there.
Yeah, because people can't pass a piano without being like, plonk, plonk, plonk,
Which is what Mia
It's
does.
human nature. Yeah, it's human nature. There's always at least one person who's going to just go start banging on it. That's just people. Am I right? So now half the ladies go to bed, and Candace stays in Robyn's room. She's like, oh, I'm going to wear these slippers. Can I wear these? Whose are they? Robyn's? Okay, I'm going to wear them. And Robyn's like, literally just a few weeks ago, Candace chose to bash me online, and now she's in my room wearing my slippers and acting like nothing's wrong. I'm just confused as shit. Oh, God, poor victim Robyn, who never did anything to anybody. Wah, wah, wah.
So then they all start talking about how after hours late at night is when they all let it out, and they have the most fun, and it's going to be like the let it out delegation or let out delegation. And they're just sort of like joking about that. And they're talking about swallowing again. And basically Candace is like, now that Candace is wearing Robyn's slippers, she is, I guess, maybe like bringing some truth about like sometimes you just got to walk in someone else's shoes to understand them. Because now she's like, you know what, Robyn, I think we should talk tomorrow. We should really talk. Robyn's like, okay, sure, fine. And Candace is like, Robyn has always been like a big sister to me. And being in this space where we're able to have fun and I can wear her slippers, it definitely reminds me of where we used to be. So, bitch, we need to have a talk.
So then the next day, everybody's doing their calling home thing. And Nneka's telling Ike how Wendy called her a crackhead. And he just cracks up. He's like, everyone knows you're not a crackhead, honey. Don't worry about it. And then Giselle goes into Ashley's room where there's a big old breakfast spread. And she's like, Ashley says, she says something like, you know me, I love a little French toast. Now she's like, yeah, and you love fat ass too. She goes, well, I don't have that these days. He's a model. He's a model, okay. But he makes up for it in other areas.
Yes, we've heard. I heard multiple times. Robyn, nah. I straight up did not want to leave you last night. I was not being a good bestie. I left you in the room with people that have been trashing you. I'm sorry. Yeah. She's like, yeah, trashing me. Candace for sure has been trashing me. And incessantly left and right. Ah.
Well, Robyn, you know, she called you a fraud, okay, which was her trashing, and you did completely hide everything going on with Juan until it was over, and then you tried to charge people $5 on Patreon to go find everything out. So after putting Candace's marriage through the ringer the entire season. So I'm not saying that because I think that people forgot, but this is Housewives audience level stuff where I forget. You forget the next season. And when someone comes back acting like the victim about every little thing, it's like, why are they being so mean to Robyn when she was the one he was possibly cheating on? Because she's mean to everyone else and drags their shit through. So she can't cry now. That's what I say.
And also when they asked her like point blank last season, she acted like everything was fine, that there were no issues. So Robyn's saying like, yeah, she's like, Candace literally said that I plotted on her husband and, you know, calling me a fraud and saying whatever was going on with Juan and like it was a cover up so we can talk about Chris. And Giselle's like, I don't know how you let her into your room. That's funny to me. I can't believe you would do that. I'm not telling you how to think, but you should be mad at her. So now everyone shows up. They come into this room because, by the way, there are like easels set up for some painting and stuff. And we find out that Ashley has set up an activity wherein they will be painting their vaginas or an interpretation of their vaginas.
Now that we've talked about swallowing loads and then Robyn swallowing more loads and booty hole licking, let's try our vag.
So they all get together to do that. And Candace says, if we're going to be honest about these paintings, it should be some busted coochies because they've been out here in these streets doing concubine foolishness. And you should be painting roast beef.
Roast beef. Wow.
Okay, so now they are talking about, let's see. So Karen's like, listen, you know, Robyn, we're all trying to be close here, but, you know, you only speak to one pocket of the friendship circle, Robyn. And she's like, yeah, that's true. And she's like, and in doing so, you divide the group. So, Robyn, I'm asking you directly, how are you doing with one possibly cheating? This is all in parentheses. With one most likely cheating on you with someone who looks exactly like me. Undo parentheses, nod, swallow. And
well, first of all, what I've experienced personally is not dividing the group. I speak to the people who actually reach out to me and say, I'm sorry you're going through this. Are you okay? And Candace, of course, is like, so then when I reached out to you, you ignored me. And we see her text that says like, you know, despite whatever else aside from me calling you a fraud, I'm so sorry this is happening to you and this is happening to your family. So Robyn's like, are you serious? After all, you've trashed me on social media incessantly, or should I say left and right? Really? Do you know what I've gone through? I've gone through torture.
So have I. Stick in my expansion. And Karen's like, well, Robyn, you've been hiding your truth. And she's like, if I didn't even tell my own mom what happened, why the hell would I talk about it in front of any of you all? You need to be accountable, Robyn. She's like, you want to beat me up? Go ahead. Kill me. Murder me. And then she stands up in this weird dress she's wearing and starts turning in circles. And the dress is, of course, being eaten by her butt. And it's just this like big, huge, awkward thing where she's trying to like scream at everybody about what a victim she is, and literally nobody cares. And so Karen's like, you know what? She needs to hold herself accountable. You lied for an entire year, but you asked us to be accountable. And you know what this outfit reminds me of? Those women in a polygamy camp. And they'll stand up for their man. Only thing Robyn's missing was a bonnet. So she literally puts on a prop bonnet. Okay.
Yes.
Starts doing Robyn. Juan is a good man. You just don't know Juan. Ask me anything about Juan. And she says, girl, the whole world knows about Juan. Now sit your ass down and get upon it.
Can we stop all this? Because this is a very personal experience that I'm charging $5 on Patreon for you to experience. So could we just stop? It's so personal. Well, but you drag us into us. Drag us into it. No, I did not. That's you're trying to make me a villain for it. That's you doing that. And Karen's like, well, the moment you put a price tag of $5.99, which is very close to $5.9, which is my current age, on it and sold it to the world, you drug us into it.
I'm sorry, Ben, but I'm not saying 5.9 anymore. Now I'm saying it was very close to triple 20. Triple 20.
-1. Well, I'm currently 5'9", but I'm approaching triple 20. So she's basically so then Robyn's like, but what does that have to do with you? And Mia's like, well, just buy it. And Giselle goes, it only costs $5. I wish we had added
I love
99 cents though.
So why does it make it their business because she charged money for it on Patreon? That doesn't make any sense, but it is a very Karen argument. And then Giselle being like, $5 is nothing, you know? So then
Maybe
Robyn's
the implication is
talk.
Maybe the implication is like it becomes our business when like you're not honest with us on the TV show that you're supposed to be working for, but you'll say it all on your own personal Patreon, and like we have a job to do, and you're not making it so that way we can do our job. That's why it's our business.
So Robyn's like, well, I'm trying to talk. Robyn, you've been given every opportunity to talk, and you just keep lying over and over. So, and do I blame you? Not really. I mean, if you're going to stay with Juan, what else are you going to do? You know, I mean, at this point, she's basically just saying, he cheated on me, and I don't fucking care. Can we just get over it?
Yeah.
But she can't say that for whatever reason. So she just keeps yelling about being attacked, you know?
Yeah.
So then Wendy's like, listen, you know, we never saw Giselle going up to her, or we never saw you going up to anybody, your homegirl, Giselle or whatever, saying, you know what, I've really been stressed because this is going on. And Robyn's like, okay, listen, this is what happened. I'll address it. This girl DM'd me, and I wasn't really looking at my messages. And she also messaged Giselle.
And just because y'all didn't see or hear our discussions, doesn't mean it didn't happen. Bullshit. No, not bullshit. I have a question, says Candace. You said there was a DM exchange and you didn't read it. I didn't. But there's no part of you that wants to know what they were saying to each other that was potentially inappropriate. So Robyn said that she did not read Juan's DMs. But also, by the way, what was this thing that just sort of was entered into the conversation and then moved on from very quickly? A girl DM'd Giselle. What was that about? Am I crazy? Did something happen there? Like what? Huh? Someone
One of
messaged
Robyn's
Giselle?
mistresses, I guess. So she was messaging Robyn, but then she ended up messaging Giselle after. Because there was the hotel lady, right? And then there was the hotel lady. Is that the Canada lady? There was a hotel lady, and then there's the lady that Juan worked with. So I'm guessing that they're talking about the hotel lady.
I have no idea. I'm confused.
Because they wouldn't talk about the laundry lady, because that's Bree, who Juan works with, who he's not denying hanging out with. He's like the reason friends.
Right. Well, the reason why Robyn did not read the DMs that Juan had with the hotel lady is because Juan just like no longer had the messages. Like he cleans out his phone like crazy. Like he deletes everything. Like, okay, so like he didn't have the messages with her. And they're all like, Robyn, how many signs do you need? He cheated on you. But I think it's really what you said, which is like she knows. And she has come to peace with it, or whatever has been resolved, and she doesn't want to dwell on it anymore.
Yeah, Juan's roommate. Like the relationship is speculated to be just friends who stay together for the kids or whatever, or for the show, and that he is out dating whoever the hell he wants, and he doesn't really want to do this big fake TV show thing anymore. But she's looking like an ass, and at this point she's caught and doesn't know what to say, you know? So who knows what's true? I can tell you this. I'm shocked that Robyn even has the Plum storyline of getting cheated on, and she's still this boring. Because, wow.
Yes.
The swallowing loads was more interesting than the scene with Robyn. Like, jeez.
Robyn, you have to take some lessons from Ariana. Like, parlay it into a magazine cover, get an Uber Eats ad out of it, go on Dancing with the Stars. You're really messing this one up, okay? So she's like, yeah, no, he deletes it because that's what he does. Like, literally, he doesn't even store people's phone numbers. He'll just have, like, coaches reach out and he'll be like, I don't know who this is because he's weird, okay? That's what it is, okay? I'm like, this is a terrible excuse, Robyn. I understand you want to defend your man. Okay, that's fine. But just, you got to do better than this. This is big. Please. You put everyone else on
also just makes him really bad at his job and everything else in life. If you don't even have, if you're like too lazy to put people's names in your phone, like when you don't, you can't even know when someone professional is calling you. That's, I don't know what point you're trying to make, but it's really not helping anything. Now he just looks like a lazy cheater.
Yeah. Maybe he's just relying on Siri saying things like, you know when a phone number calls, it's like, maybe this is Roberta Flack or something. I don't know why I chose Roberta Flack, but like, it's, you know how like Siri always suggests people. So maybe he just relies on that. That's the only way around I can imagine it.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Bombas presents unsolicited gifting advice. Number 1, if they say not to get them anything, get them something. 2, underwear is a great gift, just not for your boss. And 3, those absurdly soft Bombas socks and slippers you've been eyeing for yourself, they'll love those. And the fact that for every item you purchase, another is donated to someone who needs it, they'll love that even more.
Go to bombas.com/Wondery and use code Wondery for 20% off your first purchase. That's bombas.com/Wondery, code Wondery.
Okay, so Ashley's like, okay, I guess we're not going to paint our vaginas because they've fought with Robyn the whole morning. So now they're going to split up to do 2 activities. Some are going to a distillery and some are going to a cowboy boot shop. And so they're picking names out of a hat, and Karen and Robyn get stuck on the same trip. So Robyn switches her name, which, it's against the rules, but, so it's cheating. Yeah. So then montage of everybody getting ready in their bathroom mirrors, whatever. And Karen calls her event planner about her meeting with the PAVE organization on Zoom for years. So basically she talks about her charity, which is kind of rare. I was thinking the other day how these used to always be about charities, remember?
Right. Yeah. Especially because I think the show, it's like DNA was actually supposed to be a show about, it was not a Real Housewives show. It was about like manners. It was about charities. I think it was about the Jack and Jill Society, something like that. So, there was a lot of charity back in the day. Same with Dallas, and they moved away from it. So, Karen's charity has come back. And so it looks like we're going to have an event in a future episode pertaining to that. And everyone's getting dressed, ready to go out. And, now boot shopping people are at the boot place, and Ashley's like, so Robyn, are you okay today? And she's like, it's just nonsense. People act like I did something to them. Like, no, if someone comes in with private information, you keep it private. Which again, I think everyone would respect that, but Robyn was just like coming at Karen hard last season about like Karen not being forthcoming about information. So I think that's why people are annoyed at Robyn, if I remember correctly. It was that it just felt like a bit hypocritical that she would be pressing Karen for information about a guy in Vegas, blue eyes in Vegas, when Robyn is sitting on a scandal of her own.
So then in the other car on the way to the distillery, Candace and Candace and Karen are talking about Robyn. And she's like, maybe I don't agree with Robyn, but I will tell you this. She loves that man. And I respect her for that. I respect her. And so they're like, so that situation is just complicated, right? And Wendy's like, yeah, I mean, I don't care. Like, you want to be with him and he cheats on you. If he goes to Canada, he goes to Nigeria, I really do not care. And Karen's like, okay then, Wendy. So then we go boot shopping, and the other people go to the distillery, and it's just, I don't know, it's fun and games time.
It's fun and games. The people at the distillery have a really hard time accepting that they're merely at a distillery. They keep trying to order wine and beer, and they're like, "No, ma'am, this is a distillery. We only have whiskey." So they finally they have their drinks and everything, and then Nneka decides she's like, "Here comes more of my storyline." So she talks about how she did her wedding planning all from LA, and she only came to the DMV DMV meaning Delaware, Maryland, Virginia area, like 10 days before the wedding or something. And then the wedding was a disaster. She didn't like the decor. She didn't like the dresses. She didn't like anything. And so, basically she's going to be doing a traditional Nigerian wedding, and that's going to be kind of like the do-over thing.
Basically, she moved here for this show, and now that she's on this show, she's going to do a wedding because that's what you do on Housewives.
I'm like, are they setting up a season finale, or are they setting up? It feels like they're clearly setting up a big episode.
So then, let's see. So Nneka's talking about when they first got married. You know, basically they want to do a traditional wedding, and Robyn's like, "Well, I'm really glad you're here, and hopefully, you know, we don't scare you." And Giselle goes, "Have we scared you?" And she's like, "No, I like you guys." And Robyn's like, "Yeah, but even with how they were talking to me today, like, you know, normally, like, that's not how you would talk to a friend." Can the woman talk about her wedding, Robyn? Okay, for somebody who is sick of talking about it, you sure bringing it up a lot, Robyn.
Yeah, she really does. But Nneka's good at bringing it back to herself, because she's like, "I don't know why there was such a heated issue. I mean, you know, I feel like you've been very transparent with me, and I'm just meeting you the past couple of weeks, and you've been an open book, much like the guest registry I had at my terrible wedding. And furthermore, about that wedding, I'm going to have a redo, and I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, so they keep accusing me of setting up for Juan." And Giselle's like, "I feel like they made it about them, just like how you just made it about you, Robyn, while Nneka was talking about her wedding. And that for me is like disgusting, except when they do it, not when you do it."
So the other group is at a picnic table doing whiskey tasting, and this crow comes and sits on the fence. And Wendy's like, "Uh-oh, not birds. You know what? You know I have a history with birds." And then we get a clip of her wacky scene with T'Challa flying around and her screaming. It's like Whitney's most iconic scene was being afraid of a bird. So we hear a bird call, and Mia goes,
"That's not your mama, is it?"
That was legitimately funny. Oh, he's like, "Don't do that. Don't do that."
That made up for the rest of the episode.
Wendy is not amused by that. She's like, "Okay, let's leave the moms out of it. Let's leave the moms out." She goes,
"Well, just kidding. Okay, well, can we clear that up, by the way? Like, do you think that your mom, like, sent like, names to the shrine?"
And Wendy's like, "I don't need to defend this because I never thought I should. But when you guys are saying shrine, I just want to say you're saying it in a way which leaves it up to the imagination. And like for what it is, Catholics have shrines too, and our saints have different shrines. And it's not something negative because we do that. We have Catholic shrines. Ronnie, can you please tell me, as I'm a Jewish person, could you please represent all Catholics and tell me, are there shrines?
Well, I'm not Catholic, but I went to Catholic school. No, I'm Episcopal.
Oh, you went to Catholic school.
Yeah. Yes, for a minute. But you don't submit people's names to shrines. So I don't know what Wendy's talking about. It's not really the same thing. No one's mom is going to call you and be like, "Guess what? I went to the Catholic Church today and submitted your name to a shrine. You fucking clout chaser." Wendy's really trying too hard with this, and she's like, and especially because I was raised by a single mom, and blah blah blah. She goes on this whole thing.
Tears come out.
Yes, my mother was a single mother, and I get it, but if she's still calling and threatening people and calling them clout chasers it doesn't really have anything to do with being a single mom or religious or this and that. Now she is saying, this is shrouded in people saying like, "Oh, witchcraft and Nigerians and Africans," and that's really not cool, because when you grow up and you're misunderstood because you're Nigerian, and then you hear these stereotypes coming back at you, which, okay, I get it. But she's really leaning hard into this. "But I was raised by a woman of Christ." But so what? So then you're saying that people who aren't
Yeah.
Good. I mean, so what? So what's wrong with the other people who do have shrines or who do have whatever? Like, are they not as good because they're Catholic? Just stay away from this discussion. You know what I mean? Just leave it alone. Don't lean into being more religious than some other religion. To me, it's all bonkers, personally. But just leave it alone.
So I did a search for Catholic shrines and a Wikipedia page came up. It said National Shrine. A national shrine is a Catholic church or other sacred place which has met certain requirements and is given this honor by the National Episcopal Conference to recognize the church's special cultural, historical, and religious significance. And there's a picture up on the Wikipedia page of an example of a national shrine. And the picture says, the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Assumption of the Blessed Virgin Mary, located in Baltimore, Maryland. So there is an actual national shrine that's Catholic that's in Baltimore. So there could actually be some crossed wires here. There actually could be some, like, it is possible that, like, Wendy's mom said, I'm going to go to the national shrine and, like, pray for you or something like that, and it comes out sounding much worse and malevolent than it is. I don't know for sure, but apparently national shrines are like a whole
but
thing.
Wendy's mother was saying, allegedly, yeah, but you don't submit people's name to a shrine in a negative way. Like, if people died, you'll go pray for people that are dead and light a candle or whatever. I mean, you know what I mean? You don't threaten people like, I'm threatening you. I've submitted your name to a shrine. You know, you're in trouble. And also, Wendy's mother was accused of saying, you know, and ask around about me. You don't know
see what happened.
You ask.
See what happened.
I mean, this is like your mother is. Yeah, your mother is. She's making. Wendy always twists it to make herself a victim or to make it like, oh my God, now you're talking about a single mother. And she's not talking about the main point being made, which is your mother's calling up and threatening people. That's it. Don't bring all this other wah shit into it. Your mother is calling and threatening people. So if she's,
but maybe
not,
this is
say
why
that absolutely never happened and everyone's a goddamn liar. But to turn it all into this is so Wendy.
But this is also like Wendy's way of saying, I think in some ways saying like, this is why you're not going to get any sort of response out of me because my mom was a single mom and raised us and I owe everything to her and I'm never going to go against her. So, and then Karen's like, well, that is your mama and you only get one. And then they cut to the crow, like turning around to look the other way. It's almost like the crow saying, thank you, my work here is done. So now we go over to the boot ladies. And they actually, everyone meets up for lunch. So they're at a restaurant. Everyone's like, how's it going? Da 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 da. And Nneka's like, they say, oh, we learned about Nneka's wedding. She's like, okay, everyone. So here's what happened. My wedding at the Watergate was a disaster. Bad hotel. Turns out it's a really bad hotel. But I'm okay. I'm looking forward to my traditional wedding in Nigeria, and I'm going to do that. And it's important for me to do it on my father's land. So I'm going to get married at my compound in the village like it's traditionally done. And, you know, my husband's a titled man, so he feels really compelled to do it too. And like, well, what does being titled means? And she basically says, like, it's a special title you get, but nowadays you can actually buy it. Sort of like, you know, a blue check on Twitter. You can just buy it, you know.
This is weird, though. So she goes, okay, it's like being a chief in a sense. It's a very special title. But, you know, I mean, some people do pay for it. And then it just cuts to Wendy, like, not looking at her, like, being kind of pissy. But what's the insinuation here? Is she insinuating that someone in Wendy's family paid for it, or
I don't think she's insinuating
has it been
anything.
insinuated that in Nneka's family it's been paid for it?
I actually don't think that she's insinuating anything. I think she's just sort of saying like, yeah, you know, people can buy it, but he has it. And I think they cut to Wendy just to show that, you know, Wendy's annoyed that Nneka is, you know, I think they're advancing the narrative, the suggestion that Wendy wants to be the only Nigerian on the show. And Nneka is now explaining some of her culture and Wendy seems annoyed. That's how I interpreted that moment.
Okay.
But either way, but she does like invoke Twitter and the blue check. And so then Robyn's like, so like how like Karen, you and Mia bought your blue check on Twitter? And Karen's like,
Wait a minute. I did not buy my blue check. What are you talking about?
No, you and me are the only two that still have the blue check.
Well, maybe they like me. Maybe they don't like you. You know, Elon Musk is a huge fan of the Real Housewives of Potomac, and it's possible that he's a real Karen head.
He really goes down a K-hole, as the kids are saying. And Karen, there's only one way you can have that. She goes, no, I'll prove it to you. I will prove it to you right now. And she whips out her cricket, and she's like, look at this. Read this and weep. You are a member of Twitter Verified because you are subscribed to Twitter Blue. There. And they're like, yeah, you pay for it. I do not. It's for free. Because I'm Karen. And they're like, they click on the payment button, and she's like, oh, it's on my Apple Pay. Shut up.
I'm innocent. And Giselle's like, you did that, Karen. I did not do that. I did not. I'm innocent. Matt did it. He said that I had the celebrity discount. So she's like, they just keep showing her more and more how much she actually paid for it. Like, they're like, look, we're in your billing history. We're in your Apple Pay now. And she's like, Apple Pay did it. It wasn't me. It was Apple Pay. I'm going to call up Apple Pay. We're going to have a conversation. I'm going to call Apple Pay. I'm sure Tim Cook is waiting for you.
So now Ashley announces that they will be going to Chicken Shit Bingo. And they're like, what? What's that? And she's like, it's an Austen tradition. So they're going to go play some Chicken Shit Bingo.
Have you been to it?
No. I could live anywhere. I may as well live on the moon for all I see, as long as it has a Home Goods. Here's what I see. Home Goods. That's it.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you
Target.
about every Austen element of this
But
episode.
we've seen Chicken Shit Bingo on this on one of these shows. I forget which one it is, but it's basically where they put numbers down, and then wherever the chicken poops, that's the number that they call.
Oh, you're right. I was trying to pick because I wasn't sure if this was going to be like a literal pooping chicken, or if it was going to be just called Chicken Shit Bingo, but it's like Drag Queen Bingo or something, where it's just like
really afraid people. It's just really terrified people who are afraid of public speaking, just being like, oh,
B, Toastmasters.
11. Oh, don't hit me. B, 11.
I would love that. That would be my favorite bingo of all time. Timid bingo. Guys, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Chicken Shit Bingo. Just people who are afraid of things. Like, you can cross the street now, dear. No, I won't cross the street. I'm terrified. What if I die? C. No. 10, 5, and 14, and 14.
I think I've got bingo. I'm so sorry. I have to verify that. Okay, hold on. Okay, let me look. I'm so sorry. You got it wrong. I'm so sorry.
So Karen's like, well, I can't be around chickens. You know that. And then we see a clip of last year where Karen decided chickens are dirty birds, dirty birds. You know what I've read about chicken? They pay for check marks. And then throwing away all the chicken from her refrigerator. So she's like, listen, Ashley, I don't know where she finds this stuff, but she's getting very creative in that divorce. Vaginas, Chicken Shit Bingo. I'm just trying to be there for the girl, but this is a bit much. It's a bit much.
It's not chicken, Karen. You just have to let the chicken do the bingo, Karen. Well, as long as there's no live chickens, then we're good. Well, but there will be live chickens, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So they are going to go change and everything. And Mia's like,
by the way, Ashley, are you still getting a divorce, right? Like, should we be celebrating that on this trip? Like, what's going on? Like, any papers being signed yet? And she's like, no, I'm still working on it. There's like still logistics to fill in, like what custody should look like, things like that.
And so they basically are asking her about her custody, and she's talking about like the plans, like weekends, weekdays, stuff like that. And Ashley's just saying how she just can't imagine going a whole week without seeing her children.
And Mia's like, well, speaking of Michael, what's going on with the lawsuit? And dun, dun, dun. Candace is like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Mia's like, I've got a job to do. I'm trying to get things going here. Like, what's going on with custody?
It's an uphill battle. It's definitely an uphill battle. So Candace is not going to talk about it. She's like, I will not talk about this. And she's like, Robyn's like, excuse me. She goes, let's not be dense, Robyn. She goes, dense. And she's like, Robyn, you're not dumb. She goes, I'm not being dumb. And she's like, this is a legal matter, Robyn, which I think you kind of went against that when you spoke about your husband's legal matter. And we see the clip of the reunion with Robyn being like, I mean, it is a legal matter, but Juan is not guilty. So then they come back and Candace is like, yeah, I'm not making the same mistake you did, insinuating that Juan actually, got in trouble because of what Robyn was saying on the reunion. And so then Robyn's like, no, his legal matter has nothing to do with this. And Wendy goes, wait, so you're saying that a Title IX violation has nothing to do with why a university employee was fired? Which she never said. So, but it's a Wendy, it's how Wendy hears things.
It was not smart of Robyn to say as much as she did on the reunion. But that being said, she didn't really say much. Like the best practice is if there's a lawsuit, you just keep your mouth, you just shut up. But that being said, she didn't really say that much. I can't imagine that Juan's case is hanging in the balance and that whatever Robyn said at the reunion was the thing that tipped it over. I think it's okay. But basically, Robyn's denying. She's saying no, it's a lie. By the way, Robyn. But now Robyn's talking more about the case, and she's saying it's a lie. The state of Maryland is representing Juan, and you know why? Because they all know that this is bullshit. It's a bullshit case. Is that true? The state of Maryland representing Juan Dixon on this matter?
Well, they're all being sued together, so it would make sense, right?
I don't know. Is this
why would they put him on his own? So this is what I just
state school.
Coppin State. Oh. So, just states in the title. Not being a smartass, I was just reading the name of the school. So, Baltimore judge has dismissed the lawsuit against Coppin State University and its former men's head basketball coach Juan Dixon. The suit was issued by a former player alleging an assistant coach blackmailed and sexually assaulted him. He also claimed the school wrongfully acted in retaliation. The Baltimore Banner reported the Monday ruling that Judge Melissa Copeland would allow an amendment to the complaint, stating, "We are very much at the beginning of the case. We're pleased with this is the lawyer. We are pleased with the decision to dismiss all claims against Coppin State University, the University System of Maryland, the State of Maryland, Derek Carter, Director of Athletics, and Juan Dixon." So there you go.
Coppin State is a public historically black university in Baltimore, Maryland. It's part of the University System of Maryland. So it is a public school. So I'm not a lawyer. I don't understand these things. But when Robyn says, the state of Maryland is defending Juan because they believe in him, I'm like, but if the state of Maryland, it's the state of Maryland school. So if they're defending themselves, they're inherently going to defend Juan, I guess, I would assume. But, I'm not a lawyer. I shouldn't weigh in on these things. I've got better things. I've got better things that I don't know about to weigh in on instead.
So they all head back to the hotel for some chicken shit bingo. Well, basically, they keep saying Title IX to Robyn, and she's like, no, Title IX, this had nothing to do with Title IX. So she's like, yeah, he didn't do any of this stuff. He's innocent. And then later he was, charges were dropped against him. So now they go change for chicken shit bingo. And Giselle's like, so what can we talk about and what can't we talk about? Because, Robyn asked a question about a lawsuit and suddenly we can't talk about it. And Candace is like, listen, I'm going to give her a moment to be in her feelings. And I'm just going to stay over here, being moisturized.
Yeah. So speaking about chicken shit bingo, Giselle's by the pool talking to Jason on the phone, and she's like, a bird pooped in the pool, and I'm just floating on top of the water. And Jason's like, did you scoop it out? Was it recruited for bingo? And she goes, hell no, Jason, I jumped out of the pool. I was disgusted. And he's like, Austen 1, Giselle 0. So anyway.
So let's see. So Mia sees
this episode.
Yeah, we're over an hour. Welcome to Watch What Crappens. So Mia's like, oh my God,
an hour out of this.
So Mia sees Candace and Robyn sitting next to each other, and she's like,
so do you feel different from breakfast? Because maybe there could be a conversation with you guys.
And Robyn's like, no, I'm not interested. The way that she's bringing up Juan being fired. This just doesn't feel good to me. And then Candace is like, Robyn, listen, I'm just saying it's not smart to speak about any legal situation. And I don't think that it helped that you spoke about it. And okay, you say that he's innocent consent, that's fine. And Robyn's like, oh, that's the worst part of everything we've been going through is you guys. And what? Now you're saying Title IX violations? Oh. And she just they finally get her, and she just starts breaking down. And she's like, you're not going to turn me into a villain.
And I didn't do shit to none of you. Oh. So to be continued. Will Robyn be able to stop crying before they get to chicken shit bingo? I have to think about that all week long. So,
oh my God. Well, that brings us to the end of Real Housewives of Potomac.
Thanks everyone for being here for this interesting recap. We'll be back with other recaps. We've got Southern Hospitality coming up, the premiere. That's a fun one. So keep an eye and an ear out for that. And we will catch you on the next episode. Bye everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know your worth with Jason Kurth.
She's the wind beneath our Jennifer Wing.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She's quite the catch, it's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.